My name is Arya. I got into crystal healing from one of my friends. She's been really into spirituality since like freshman year, and she kind of inspired me. Just a lot of the stuff that she went through, she was able to deal with it through stuff like crystals and more spirituality and stuff. And also, TikTok kind of did inspire it a little bit, just introduced me more to it, and then I could research it on my own. And then I got really into it when I went with my friend to a crystal shop, and she taught me more about it. And then I just kind of learn more and more every day about it in general.
My name is Julie Kalua, and I am currently working at East West Bookshop in Mountain View as an assistant to our apparel department, jewelry, and as working front desk as well. Crystal healing came about for me probably started in 2013. I wasn't totally certain about crystals at that point in my life, but I was a little more interested and started purchasing some crystals. Got a crystal book, was reading up on some things, and my first big purchase was a big chunk of celestite, which is a high vibrational stone. And I took it home and had it next to my bed. And then I had some physical ailments. My gallbladder started acting up, and I was going to have surgery. It was incredibly painful. And I would hold that crystal at night, and it actually alleviated the pain so I could sleep. And it worked all the way up until I had the surgery, and that my gallbladder was removed. But personally, that was when I really was like, okay, there's something very important about crystals and their healing power. Now, would it do the same for someone else? I have no idea. But for me, it really made a huge difference. Its energy helped me feel so much better and actually sleep.
I have always been pretty into nature and connecting with it. I didn't really get super into crystals until I really learned what they can do for you. I mean, yeah, I did have some challenges. It's just change doesn't come quickly. I mean, that's something that you don't necessarily learn only from crystals, but also from life, and it does require a lot of patience, the stuff that you do with crystals. I mean, sometimes I'll like meditate with them or just carry them around. And what I've noticed is change does come, but it takes a lot of patience. And patience is something that I've really had to learn. I think that's something that's really important for me to learn in life in general, but also just with stuff like crystals.
I always thought rocks were pretty. And I think I collected some as a younger child, but I really did not have a lot to do with them very much at all until later on in life when I started my own spiritual journey. That's when it became more prominent. So, probably in the last 10 to 15 years has been the more prominent attraction to crystals. But I didn't really use them until that experience with my gallbladder. I think the biggest challenge with crystals is a lot of self-doubt, especially if you confine yourself to reading descriptions of what they do, and then you're not experiencing these descriptions that are placed around what this crystal will do, all these different things. And I think it was discouraging because it would be like, "Ooh, look at this! I want to buy this one. It's supposed to do this." And then I'd be holding it or putting it next to my bed, and it was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is doing what it's supposed to do. So I've learned over time that my strongest sense of energy is feeling. So when I'm not really totally feeling a crystal's energy interacting with me, I technically won't buy it, but I get the signal when something is really strong when I touch it or pick it up. Then I feel that. So it's just really trusting my own intuition. So that is the biggest key of overcoming any challenges when it comes to trying to understand crystals, because technically you're working on understanding yourself.
Has crystal healing ever frightened you?
Yes. Moldavite. I purchased the Moldavite like 9 years ago, before TikTok, before anybody was really talking about it, and there was plenty of it, and it was actually really affordable. I didn't know much about it, and I bought it. And it was a ring, so I was wearing the ring, all excited about, I just liked the ring, and I didn't really know too much about it. I don't know if I read up on it a lot, but I had put it on, and I experienced this energy movement that came through my body on the ring side, and it felt like it just stopped right here. And it was like really uncomfortable. It actually kind of hurt because I would move and it was blocked right here from moving out the right. So that was the physical experience, but I hadn't tied it with the Moldavite. And then I realized that I was feeling very triggered by my environment. Like things were making me really, really angry. Like I would have a really strong response to small things that you wouldn't even think would bother you. And it was so much and so overwhelming emotionally, and I did not like how I felt like I was reacting. And it kind of scared me from that experience, like it was pushing on emotional buttons for me too hard. So I took it off and I put it away, and I've never worn it since. It's a bringer of change. It really does what it has been said that it does, that it really opens your heart chakra. It brings everything that blocks you. For me, I don't choose to go through my changes so drastically. And so I have other routes and other stones and things that I work with that support that transition for me, and not just like getting slapped upside the head.
It's really interesting how crystals, or other stuff related to that, can impact you. So it is kind of frightening, the unknown, but it is also very beautiful, like the unknown. I've seen a lot of people on the internet or wherever say that crystal healing, or just doing anything with crystals, is a very girly thing to do. Like it's something that only girls can be into, and maybe a lot of guys feel like they can't get into it because of those stereotypes. But I want to say that it is for everybody, guys included.
Some of these ideas are like really it's going to just make some magical thing happen. Not to say that magic doesn't happen, because it does. It isn't necessarily because it has to do with the crystal itself. Moldavite does swiftly bring change, and in ways that may not be what you're ready for. It's not gentle. So there are crystals, there's a sort of a scale of things that are more gentle to your energy field, and then those that are just really strong and will be very dramatic. Some people think Moldavite could be really bad for them. Some are like, oh my goodness, yay, change. I'm so excited. The biggest misconception, though, is that you don't have authority over your experience. That's the biggest misconception. If you're understanding more about who you are and the crystals that you're working with, then you can understand how to set your intention of how you plan to heal or work with it, a better understanding. So there isn't anything to really be afraid of them. It's just understand what you may need in the process as you start this journey. And the biggest thing would be support and trusting yourself.
Everyone deserves love, and everyone deserves to be treated equally and fair. And crystals did tie into that by helping me learn to love myself. And I feel as I have learned to love myself more, it's become easier to see other people's struggles. I always could see that, but just have more patience for them, and also learn to accept the not so good in other people, like when someone very close to me is maybe not treating me the best or not treating other people the best.
It really helps keep me in a more neutral space. I feel like I have more room for people to be themselves. And occasionally, it's not always easy. Not everybody's in the best frame of mind, which is okay because I'm staying within my own self, so that I still continue to create an experience that's positive. I think there's confusion in what a core value would be, is sometimes we think what we do for other people is a core value, but it really comes down to how do you value yourself. And a core value means something internal. And if you're not remembering what that is, it is a path of discovery to uncovering that so that you can begin to see more about who you are, and then how people around you are not really separate from you. It's just another version or an extent.
I have learned to love myself, and that did start, like, I guess that whole process when I first started using crystals, because that is one of the goals I set with them. And also another value that I have is just being truthful, and something that has helped through the crystals is being more direct and being able to communicate more effectively, and those have definitely helped me stick to my value more.
My core values are really about taking care of myself. My journey began because I was not taking care of myself. I was putting so many other things ahead of me and suffering greatly because of it, emotionally. I realized that I needed to value myself more, my well-being more, and that it was important to take care of me. And so I began my spiritual journey of, reading, and I would even come to East West way before I worked here and just sit with books, sit with crystals, just to finding me. Who am I? I need to remember who I am besides all this chaos I'm experiencing in my life. So the core value became, number one, who am I? 2, how can I care for myself better? And 3, what is my purpose? What am I here for? In supporting other people's well-being as well. The gifts that I may have that I'm not tapping into, what are those? And empathy, kindness, loving me first so that I myself can turn around and be more loving and understanding and empathetic to the people around me. That's basically what I operate on, is I treat myself with as much kindness as I possibly can so that I can then in turn give back to other people.
When I started using them, like around that time, my life really did start to get back on track. And they do act as a guide in a way. I mean, just knowing like the purpose of each individual crystal and then applying that to everyday life has really helped.
I've integrated crystals into my daily life by either wearing them. I have them beside my bed. I have a whole collection of all sorts of crystals I will hold, and I'll hold the ones that I feel that I'm in needing more at that time, and being supportive and bringing me back into balance. So it is more about, like, if I'm swinging away and I'm feeling more anxious and I'm having more anxiety, I'll pick a crystal that I feel that is going to bring me back out and hold me in a more neutral space. So it isn't about swinging like way crazy happy or, on the opposite end. But I use those crystals to really engage in bringing me back into a neutral space where I feel like I'm able to manage my state of being in a more positive and neutral climate. Now, we're all human. Sometimes it doesn't always work because I have other things going on, which is just bringing to my attention more things for me to heal.
I'd like to continue the path I'm on. I don't really like to have necessarily wants, like things that I really want in the future. I kind of like to just appreciate what I have now, because I feel like if you don't appreciate what you have now, you won't appreciate what you'll get in the future. I do hope I can just continue to be on this path, the same path I'm on, even if it is very bumpy, if there's ups and downs. I don't know, I like where I am right now, and I hope I can continue that.
My hopes for my future is to really continue this expansion of me and my awareness, my consciousness, so that as I continue to do this work on myself, then wherever I go, it doesn't matter whether I'm just walking or I'm sitting or whatever, that people who come in contact with me receive a benefit from the energy because I've been doing my work. It doesn't matter that if somebody else is or isn't, but my presence in changing my consciousness affects those around me. And in the future world, it would be lovely to see more human beings in engaging with one another and loving one another and understanding each other better and realizing that we are not separate. We're here to do good things. Shoot. Oh, my word. Stop it. It really is very open. There's no limitation on how you work with crystals or what that means for you. It could be very, just because you like them and you wear them. It could be, feeling its energy, experiencing different things with them. It's really undetermined, to not get locked in the idea that it's only defined a certain way, because it's going to be different for every person.
I'd say it's definitely a journey, one that can start small or start large, wherever you do want to start, whenever in your life you want to. There's never a bad time. Crystal healing has really helped me feel appreciation and love for myself and others, and that is something that everyone should feel. Everyone should feel like self-love and just more love in general. And if you are interested in crystal healing at all, definitely start whenever you want. If you feel any inkling at all to just dip your toes in. Go ahead.